Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 2 of What If Naruto was neglected with Joker personality. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And if you're new, yes, I did have 3 channels. Anime King 2, Anime King 3. Which I post What If on every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly. Every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. And also guys, don't forget to turn on that bell notification to stay posted to see exactly when I post. So yeah, without further ado, waste any more time, what do you say we leap on into this new episode? Starts the intro, guys. So, the last part that we left off. It was a birthday for the siblings, as Minato and Kushina were a nervous wreck. This was supposed to be a happy event, however Kushina was not feeling it at all, as she couldn't put on a brave face as she tried to, but it was just too hard, too painful, to see how Naruto treated them like they did nothing wrong. But she believed that she should be cursed at, that he should at least hate them to be justified for his feelings. However, he's done nothing wrong. She didn't know that her son was one of the top Anbu members who graduated with Itachi. She knew nothing about him. Minato on the other hand wanted to speak with Naruto. So when Naruto and Itachi finally arrived at the party, he brought him upstairs to talk with him. However, Naruto seemed completely oblivious of what Minato was talking about, as he asked him if they were getting a divorce, seeing that he saw him and Kushina acting strange. However, Minato understood why he would think that, given the way they were acting, but that was not the case. Minato was genuinely confused, as Naruto really did not hold any resentment to them. However, Anbu duty called, so Naruto had to leave. Later that night, after the party came to an end, seeing the two twins happy, the parents are not happy at all because the place was too joyous and they knew that it should not be. As Kushina started to wash the dishes, Minato came to help her. However, she gave him a look. She was angry and she just wanted to be alone right now, as he decided to get the siblings to bed. Meanwhile, Naruto and his group made their way. Both him and Itachi and Yujiro and Hayate made their way towards a location where they came across some extract missing ninjas, Deidara, the mad bomber of the Hidden Stone, and also a missing from Kumu as well. They had a target inside, a rather wealthy man's son, and it was the group's job to get him back. So with that, Naruto and Itachi infiltrate the location, making their way around the back while the others were supposed to cause a distraction at front. It didn't take too hard for Naruto and Itachi to get in. Upon locating the inside, they made their way as they came across the seals, as Naruto was able to disassemble all of the Funjutsu markings. Before they made their way, they quickly used a seal to call the person that was the user of the seal. It was a prison seal, and the caster could kill the person, and that is something he could not allow, so with that they had to wait. However, to their surprise, it was none other than Orochimaru the Sannin. Orochimaru saw them as he was rather happy. These two were rather proud specimens, as their showmanship so far has been rather eventful, so he fought with them. However, it was clear that they were not really taking it serious after all. No jutsus came out, as Naruto and Itachi did not want to alert the others outside. However, Orochimaru ended up releasing the seal of the man that was strange, allowing the two boys to take the man, and he proceeded to walk through Naruto Funjutsu like it was almost created by him. Something really strange happened right there. However, it seems Itachi and Naruto knew nothing of what was going on. When they regrouped with the others, it turns out that the missing ninjas left. Something was going on, so with that they made their way back towards the village. It has been a week, as Minato was having problems, however things were getting good once again. However, they became really bad and Kushina started to shut herself off, and both him and her came to quarrels. The children never saw them fight before, so they were rather shocked and they want to know what was going on, asking them if they were going to get a divorce. However, for the children, they were able to hold it together as she spoke to her other friends. They were disappointed, yes, of course. However, they could see that she was genuinely upset about this, and she didn't mean to, so they decided to help her out how to build a relationship with her eldest son. So with that, Naruto came back as Minato spoke to them and get the briefing. Before he dismissed them, he hugged his son, proud to see him as an Anbu, as he had waited for the day to set him off to school, but now here he was seeing his eldest son as an Anbu, as he smiled as a proud father should. However, he knew that he should be feeling a lot of guilt right now, but that was being washed away by all the happiness that he was feeling, seeing his son like this. So with that, Minato invited Naruto for breakfast. The next morning, Naruto came by, cheery as ever as he sat down with the family, and he ate. After that, Minato had to go to work, so him and the others made their way outside, as the two siblings went against him. They were good for the average shinobi that was not in the academy yet, however. They were rather sloppy when it comes to their teamwork. Their teamwork was downright terrible, and that was really bad for them. As Naruto had to go though, as he said goodbye to his mother, she told him that he was always welcome here. And it seems like everything was perfect, and Kushina was happy that everything was getting along so well, as nothing seemed to be too out of hand, and she was glad that he was coming over and speaking to them. It made her so happy. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place to your cell phone to begin this new episode. The night sky swallow. The daily activities. As the remnants of bar hopping and late night dinner dates came out. It was around this time Naruto and Itachi were walking out of Anbu HQ. Whole day spending listening to briefing after briefing. The two were exhausted and hungry. Their feet brought them to the side of a town that held many of the family-friendly restaurants and stands. They were still discussing the topics they were brief over the hour-long meeting. It was a mandatory last-minute event that was to congratulate and send off the newly retired Anbu captain Kenji Hodoro. The man was handing down the title to one of their other superior officers and a former student of his, Omaru Yoshin, as they were also brief about the regulations that the fort had added to the mix. As Naruto wondered how long was his father working on such a thing. With all of that nonsense out of the way, the two boys were going to enjoy a meal somewhere. They just could not decide where. As they were making their way, they ran into someone that Itachi wished they had not ran into, especially with Naruto here. Hey Itachi-kun. As she walked over, black hair and eyes, as she had the Uchiha fan on her back. Hello Naruto-san, she said. Izumi. Hello, said Naruto. However, Itachi saw Naruto devious smile. What a wonderful surprise. Itachi decided not to react, as if he did so, the blonde would do something. However, there was someone else there as well. It was her father. Hello Izumi-chan. Komiyu-san. As he addressed her and her father. Hello to you two as well, Itachi and Naruto, the man said with a smile. What are you two doing out so late? Itachi asked curiously. Izumi looked rather hurt by the question. Well, it's my birthday and all, she said. So Dad was teaching me a new technique. Itachi stiffened. He had completely forgotten about it with the day chaotic events. Trying to play it off with indifference, he simply nodded, hoping no one noticed. Of course he knew for a fact that one person did though, without a doubt. Well, said Naruto, breaking the awkward silence that followed after Itachi replied. I wish you a happy birthday. I apologize because I almost completely forgot about the joyous occasion. This morning while we were heading out to our meeting. Almost, of course. Seeing that Itachi was there to bug me the entire way about it. Itachi mentally thanked Naruto for being so aware and helpful. Izumi's eyes lit up in happiness hearing that, as her father laughed. As he had nothing to say about that, as Naruto turned towards the man. May I ask if you the honor of your daughter joining us for dinner? As a way of making up to Izumi and repaying Itachi for reminding me, said Naruto. As he spoke pleasant as always. The man looked towards his daughter pleading eyes, before he looked towards the two boys. Well, if it was anyone else I would say no. But with Itachi and the son of the fort, I'm sure she's in good hands. You kids have fun, he said, walking off, leaving the three of them. Two of them standing there embarrassed, that was Itachi and Izumi. As Naruto's smile was always present, that calm look in his eyes, that intellectual look. Time skip. They all sat in the barbecue restaurant. Naruto sat on one side, Itachi and Izumi sat on the other, as both Izumi and Itachi tried to avoid each other's view. As Naruto was reading the book that Itachi had bought him, and Itachi was mentally cursing the book. It was a paradox at the moment. When it comes to Naruto, you could talk to him about anything because of his wide range of knowledge about books. However, when it comes to socializing between people, Naruto could be strange sometimes because the blonde had no filter when it comes to certain things, and he might say something that might link them as a couple, and Itachi would be placed in an awkward situation. He noticed there was a few scorch marks on her fingers though. He smiled as he knew the technique that she was working on, because he had the same injuries at one time. As the food finally arrived, however, that will stop Naruto from reading. As the waitress passed the food and took her leave, the place was covered in silence. It seems that Naruto did not notice any of that. As he finally closed his book, he looked up. "So, Izumi-san," he said, "you're finally 12 years old." She swallowed the food in her mouth. "Yes, I am," she said, as she was glad that someone finally said something. "Well, that just leaves little Itachi here." As Izumi chuckled a bit softly. "For just 3 more weeks," Itachi said. You're still a baby for 3 more weeks," Izumi said as Naruto chuckled a bit. Itachi had a deadpan look on his face. "I appear to be the more mature at this table," he said. However, there was a sound of amusement and relief in his tone. "Besides, you two are merely a few months older than me." "Great observation," said Naruto. "I was only joking." "You will get it when you're older," he said. A look of annoyance came across his face as both Izumi and Naruto started to chuckle a bit, as he got everything rolling. So with that, he simply ate his meal, as he watched the two talk and flirt with each other in his opinion. As he returned back to his book once he was finished, as he watched it, the blossoming of love was being played out in front of his eyes. He read in a book about love. Falling in love was basically falling to your doom. For when you're in love, you become weaker to that person. Your judgment is clouded if that person is ever taken away from you, and there will be only one thing on your mind: vengeance. As there was a part of him that didn't want their relationship to flourish. Not because of jealousy, but strictly for the safety of his best friend. He didn't really have too much connections in this world, so this was one that he could not lose. Having Itachi for a friend made Naruto believe that any man could be more than the selfish, cruel, vile creatures that people see. For one, Itachi is a killer. Not a murderer, just a man following orders, but he's a killer nonetheless. For a boy who has taken countless lives and retained his humanity, that made Naruto believe that people can be people and not become monsters. And the future can hold a lot of possibilities. Before meeting Itachi, Naruto was a hateful individual. Not verbally, but he was very pessimistic in his thoughts and thinking. Of course, for a little boy, alone, having nothing, no one, it was the only outcome. For a while when he met Itachi, they butted heads on many different things. However, he was able to see something, as Itachi was a new way of viewing the things that happened on a shitty basis. It was their friendship that did that. Ironically, after their first kill, he thought Itachi would understand the real view of this world. However, he had watched him interact with people afterwards like nothing had happened. He had expected Itachi to seclude himself, much like he had the first day. He expected him to steer away from his family, for them not to see the monster that he had become. In his childlike mind, he believed that Itachi was just naive, and he did not understand what he just did. However, he had gotten to talk to him, trying to convince him that he was a monster, just like him. But Itachi told him a few simple words. He was not. He had then proceeded to get up and walk away. Naruto had proceeded to follow him as they stopped on a cliff overlooking the woods. He just watched as Itachi looked out at nothing, and he asked him, "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Naruto tried to see what he was talking about, but all he saw was scarred up trees and people yelling at one another. When he spoke about it, Itachi simply smiled and said, "You only see what you wish to see, but it is worth saying that you know what ugly looks like. Therefore you must know what beauty is as well." With those words he had left, as Naruto took it as, there can be light if there is darkness. There has to be. There has to be something to compare that darkness to. For where there is dark, there is light. And whenever there is light, there is a new beginning, a future to look forward to. Itachi has becoming really happy lately. And that was scarce in this world, especially in the profession that he did. However, it was good. Emotion is the embodiment of strength, yet at the same time, it's our greatest weakness. It's a paradox of strength. As Naruto was interrupted by Izumi standing to her feet. It's getting late, she said. I better get home. Thank you guys so much, she said. This is the most fun I had all day. Itachi got to his feet as Naruto gave her a smile. I will walk you home, Itachi said. As Naruto bade them a good night as they went home, as he couldn't wait to see what their relationship developed into. Something exquisitely dangerous, he presumed. Time skip. 2 years later. Naruto, now 14, stood outside the academy, hands in his pockets. Over the past 2 years his appearance had not changed that much. It hadn't changed at all, actually. The only key difference being his gain in height and the loss of his once favorite jacket. He simply grew out of it, so he gave it to Minato, to one day give it to Menma when he can fit in it. Other than that, nothing had really changed. He was still wearing his black t-shirt and his black Anbu pants, with black sandals. However, he was wearing a necklace, with the Uzumaki spiral symbol. It was a gift from his mother, for his recent birthday a few months back. And also there was a new book that he was reading. This book was green. As he read his book, he noticed people started to chatter amongst themselves. As he turned to see what the commotion was. As he glanced to see that it was Itachi. As he really hadn't changed that much. His fame in the village was the only thing that really altered. Itachi was what it meant to be a Konoha shinobi, as he idolized that very title. As he had become Anbu commander at the ripe age of 13. Just a few months ago. Ever since, his popularity had skyrocketed to rival that of the Hokage itself, with people saying that he was not too far away. Hello, Naruto, Itachi said. Hello to you as well, Itachi. Here for Sasuke. Yes, my mother is attending Yoshino-sama baby shower as well. That was one of the reasons why Naruto was going to be taking Menma and Mito for the day. What do you have planned for them? Asked Itachi. I am unsure. I imagine a bit of training and something to eat later. Would you mind us joining, Izumi and I, or watching over Sasuke for a day as well? As Naruto nodded. Of course, I must confess, I wasn't too interested in trying to entertain Menma and Mito all day as well. Not alone, that is. The doors swung open as the children rushed out. Some of them paused at the spectacle that was none other than Itachi Uchiha. As Sasuke was one of the first kids out, after greeting Naruto, Itachi said they were going to pick up Izumi, and that they would see them later. As Naruto waited there, face down in his book, unaware of the several eyes on him. As Menma and Mito started to explain their day rather thoroughly, as Naruto listened in false interest, all the way back to Namikaze compound. When they arrived, he began their training by having them doing their normal routine while he read his book, as he instructed them to work on chakra control afterwards, by balancing a leaf on their forehead. They were of course disappointed because they were hoping for something a bit more deadly, or at least new. As he told them that if they worked twice as hard, he would show them an amazing technique that could beat anyone in seconds. He was of course blowing smoke, however they didn't have to know that. It did motivate them though. When all that was said and done, they were finally joined by Izumi, Itachi and Sasuke. Okay guys, said Naruto as he jumped out of the tree. I think that's about enough training. What? Said Menma, still out of breath. What about our super amazing technique? Oh yeah, that. That is for another day. You guys are too tired now besides. We're gonna go eat. Hey, big brother. What's this technique? Sasuke asks. As Itachi simply chuckled, not answering the question. Big brother Naruto, are you gonna take us to the party? Mito asks. It's Ino's birthday, they're having it at the Akamichi grill house. No, said Menma, I don't want to go to that. It's nothing but a bunch of stupid girls. You're stupid, said Mito, as they started to argue amongst one another. As Naruto sighed as he looked over towards Sasuke. To break the tie. What do you think, Sasuke? Would you like to go to the party, or would you like to go somewhere else to eat? Sasuke was gonna say no, but Mito gave him a look. She was gonna be heartbroken if he did. He didn't care for her much, but he'd rather not make a girl cry. I guess it wouldn't hurt, maybe. We'll see some of our friends there as well. Menma crossed his arms in defeat. Time skip. The happy birthday song just ended when they finally arrived, as the cake was being served. It seems like everyone has already eaten. I want cake, said Mito. You have not yet eaten. It would be unwise. Oh come on, Naruto, Itachi said. Just let them eat cake for dinner. As Naruto looked down towards Mito, pleading eyes, and Menma, despite trying to stay mad, he was looking towards the cake with hunger. As he sent them off, the three of them made their way over there. As one of the moms handed them a party hat and their cakes. As Naruto and the Uchiha couple took a seat at the back of the restaurant. As Naruto sat with his back to the wall, as Itachi and Izumi were having their own conversation which he had no knowledge or interest in. Every now and then he glanced up to make sure everything was okay, as he thought that he saw Kakashi but he couldn't get a good enough look. As Naruto was surprised that it was still going on after a while. He thought it would be over after their late arrival, but it seems it was still going on, as he was greeted with Mito, and another girl rushed over to the table along with them dragging the Hyuga heiress. Big brother Naruto, Mito yelled, as she and the other two girls stood there. Itachi and Izumi stopped their conversation to watch the spectacle. "I want you to meet my friends," she said happily. "I always tell you to meet them, but you're always too busy," as she tried to mimic his voice to the best of her ability. As Naruto closed his book. "Well, okay then," he said. The pink-haired girl was the first to respond. "I'm Sakura Haruna," she said. "It's nice to meet you. I hope that you're better than that Baka Menma." As Naruto smiled at the child. "It is lovely to meet you, Sakura-san. I am Naruto." As he disregarded her remark about his brother. She was probably one of Menma's victims in his pranks. As the group went silent after that. "Come on, Hinata. He won't bite." Hinata swallowed. "I am Hinata Hyuga," she said, in a shy low tone. As Naruto extended his hand and took hers. "It's an honor to meet you, Hyuga-san," he said. "There," said Mito with a smile. "Now you know all of my friends, except for Ino. She went to the bathroom some moments ago. Hey Ino," she said, seeing her. "Over here." Ino's heart was racing more than she expected, as she was acting much Hinata-like. On her way, she ripped the birthday hat off her head as she fixed her hair, as she discreetly examined the boy that melted her confidence away, without him even knowing it. His eyes were locked onto Mito as she spoke about something, with a soft smile. As Mito turned, "Oh yeah, this is Ino, the birthday girl." "Hey," Ino said, as Mito raised an eyebrow. That was out of character. She was acting strange. "So you're the birthday girl," Izumi said, as Ino nodded. "That's so cute," she said, gushing at the innocence of the blonde, demeaning her age very much. "How old are you?" She cleared her throat so she did not stutter. 10, she said. "Well, happy birthday," Izumi said, with a smile. "I too wish you a happy birthday," Itachi said. Ino threw the two of them a thank you as she tucked her bangs behind her ears. "Ino, this is my brother." As Naruto raised his hand. "It's very nice to, however," his nearly empty cup of water was knocked out of his hand, by accident by the shaking girl. "Oh, no," she said. "I'm so sorry." Luckily, the cup was not full, so there wasn't much of it. As Naruto simply waved her off. "It's quite alright. It was only a bit of water, no harm done." As he extended his arm once again, she reached a bit more gently so she would not embarrass herself. "I wish you a very happy birthday, Ino-san. If I'm not mistaken, your father is parental leave." She looked over, seeing him paying the bill, as she quickly rushed off, as Mito watched her leave. Well, that was strange. She had never seen the blonde react like that. She wondered what was up. Time skip. 3 years later. Perched in a tree, Anbu watched as he looked into the house. The rain was muffling the screaming that was coming from inside. He watched as the guards down below scanned the perimeter, their weapons held at the ready for anyone that wanted to attack. They had no idea that their death was a mere 10 feet away, ready to end their life instantly. He went for the nearest guy first. He moved, slicing his throat, as he gently laid his body down. Then he jumped up to the ledge that the other was on. A flash of lightning hit as the Anbu was right behind the guard, as the lightning showed the sword coming down before it bisected right through the man's throat. Dropping the body softly, he leaped through the window as another guard passed by. He waited until the man was far enough before he slowly walked behind him. He then jumped and grabbed his neck as he snapped it, as he dragged the body inside and shoved it into a nearby closet. He could hear a man screaming from the basement of the mansion. Making his way through the darkness, he slaughtered 2 more men. Suddenly he heard the screaming man come to a stop. Having the target located, he moved on as he gently opened the door. Once inside, he saw a brown-haired man in a lab coat cleaning materials from the last experiment that he was undergoing. He slightly walked in. The doctor placed his hand down on the wooden surface as a kunai ripped right through his hand, pinning him there. He screamed as he grabbed the blade and plucked it from his hand. As he rushed around the table, he pulled the explosive tag out as he wrapped it around the kunai, as he threw it outside to alert his guards. However, it was plucked out of the air, chakra diffused in the tag. The man stepped back in shock. "Yato Toshi, you've been sentenced to death by the Council of Konoha for the abduction." and the murder of over 100 individuals taking residence at the border of the Land of Fire. Slice. The man's head was cleanly removed. With his mission completed, the Anbu burned the bodies as he left. Hours later, the Anbu stood in front of his locker as he removed his Anbu corpse, left in his black t-shirt, his black pants, and his necklace dangling, exhaustion in his eyes and a sore body to go with it. He closed his locker. Walking out of the locker room, the 17-year-old made his way down the corridor as he knocked on the door waiting for the command to enter. When the voice called out, he opened the door as he slowly made his way inside. As he took his seat inside the chair, opposite from the man across the decks, a bald man with dark cold eyes. Captain Yosha. Namikaze, he lost the words. He looked into those cold eyes. As he snapped back into focus, "How are you doing?" "I am well, Captain Yosha." There was no physical movement. There was no emotion in his tone, making his tone a lot creepier than it should be. "How are you?" he asked. The captain looked at him in curiosity, not trying to hide the fact that he did not believe him. I'm fine. Naruto, the reason why you're here today is because a few of your comrades have expressed their worry when working with you. They say that you've become more reckless than you usually are." As Naruto looked at the man, "What a strange grievance," he said. "Well, until you've seen Inuichi-san for evaluation, I'm afraid I must place you on leave," Captain Yosha said as he noticed a blonde jaw clenching up. "Once you are clear in your evaluation, you may return to service. Please turn in your mask," he said. As Naruto looked at the man, for a few seconds unflinching, unmoving, as he got to his feet as he pulled his mask from his back pouch, as he placed on the decks. "I bid you a good day, Captain Yosha," he said, as he heard a grunt in confirmation as he left. Time skip, hands in his pockets, as he looked up towards the heavens. The rain was pouring down on him hard. As he shut his eyes, allowing the rain to bask over his skin. The past 3 years were the most eventful of his life. It was expected, however, because his family was rather unique. Mito and Menma becoming genin last year was where it started. They were thrown on a team with Sasuke, of course, as they were handed over to Kakashi. Their rookie class became renowned a few months ago due to their performance in Chunin exams. The events went off without a hitch and came down to some great matches in the semifinals. Eventually, his brother claimed victory over the entire competition. Aside from that, the kids always find themselves in some interesting altercations, from fending off A-rank ninjas saving important individuals. The list went on and on. Life went on and on no matter what happened. It went on and on and on. Through the years, he has known many emotions, and he experienced them himself. He felt fear, anger, joy, content, happiness, but the one that he lacked to a very extreme degree was love. It has been absent in his heart as he watched those around him became ensnared in it. Seeing Izumi and Itachi moving in together, watching as his younger brother slowly fell in love with that pink-haired girl he had met all those years ago, watching the budding romance of Sasuke and Mito. It seems like love was everywhere. However, it was out of his reach, for he was always around people that overshadowed him, whether it be Itachi, Menma, or even his father, who seemed to just refuse to age. He had come to terms with that a long time ago. He was jealous, not of their specific authors, but of the admiration they receive. He was just as accomplished as everyone, yet he was not seen, he was not heard, he wasn't even really noticed. It was just like before. His life was in a constant cycle of never being the main focus. It was a selfish desire he had a few years back. However, back then he had more desires to focus on, but now, it was the only thing that he had to focus on. The only thing. And it was starting to affect him more than he thought. Why is it that certain things become a problem due to a certain lack of conflict? After he had made peace with himself, small things start to become obsessive with him. It's almost like we human beings thrive on struggle more than anything else. We search for love because love invite conflict into one's life. We go to war hoping that we will live long enough to tell our story. However, he craved the level of human interaction more than anything else. He wanted to be important to someone in some way. He wanted the villagers to admire him, just like they did Itachi. He made it to Anbu at 11 as well. So where was his congratulations? He wanted to be respected like Menma. I mean, they shared the same last name, the same resemblance to the man that they associated with. So why wasn't he treated the same way? Was he being selfish? If you had asked him a couple months ago, he would have said, yes, however now. since those time when Itachi had told him those words. Itachi was basically saying look upon the better part of things, look towards the light and not negativity. And Naruto had stuck to those words and made them become his mantra, because in those times his mindset was not a pleasant one. So he focused on those words and he always kept the negativity away and focused on the positive. However, he did something wrong though. Itachi was saying, focus on the positive but you must always be aware of the negative. However, his mind cut off the negative completely and sealed away everything. It just locked away a part of him and confined it and trapped it away, trapping a part of him away in his psyche. It was when he felt like the world was punishing him for something that he did not do. But now, focusing just on that, it was causing some strange things to happen with him. However, he stopped in front of the interrogation building, where the psychiatrical evaluations were also underwent. He walked through the building until he reached the head doctor's office, Inoichi Yamanaka, as he knocked on the door. Before he heard the entrance, he stepped in. Inoichi finished the paperwork as he glanced up. Ah, Naruto, he said. As Naruto took a seat as he waited patiently, emotionlessly, Inoichi set his paperwork aside. I was not expecting to see you so soon. Hello, Inoichi-san. Naruto's face seemed frozen in a particular way, however, his voice did not fit it at all. Something seemed strangely wrong with him. Inoichi didn't have to look far, his eyes. He looked into those eyes and it said it all. Something was wrong, not the fact that he hadn't slept in days. As he started, so, what can I help you with? I was told to receive an evaluation from yourself, Inoichi-san. A few of my co-workers fear that I'm unfit to serve. Inoichi looked over him. There was many signs that screamed that something was definitely wrong and he needed to do something about this immediately. Well, I cannot give you a proper evaluation. You are too tired for it to be accurate. I want you to rest. Come back next week and we will do it then. As Naruto's whole physical demeanor was throwing everything off. I am fine, Inoichi-san, said Naruto. Inoichi nodded. I am sure, he said. However, we're still gonna find out next week. Days later, he lay on his bed as he looked towards the ceiling. The last few days seemed like they were just molding together and becoming one same day. He hadn't left his apartment since leaving Inoichi's office that night. He refused to walk through the streets anymore because all that awaited him was side glances and chatter. That was all about him. As he had nowhere left to go, all he had was the backing of his family, which wasn't really much when they were all gone. Jiraiya and Kushina took Mito and Menma on a training trip for an undetermined period of time. They had been gone for a few months now, missing the events that happened since. What was it that happened again? Oh yeah, the death of Itachi and Izumi Uchiha, of course. It was a truly tragic event. A rather twisted ending. Naruto couldn't explain it to anyone besides. No one believed him. All they knew was that he killed them. But they didn't know the story. The true story is that Izumi Uchiha was captured by a man that had given them fair warning before. Orochimaru had captured the girl on her team mission. When her team returned with the news, Naruto was not here. However, Itachi went out. As he defied orders, abandoning his status as a Konoha ninja to do so, going after Orochimaru. Naruto pleaded when he got back to his father for him to go and assist him, as Minato reluctantly agreed. Naruto tracked his best friend to a base at the outskirts of the grass. When he showed up, Itachi was in the middle of the floor, in an arena of some sort. Naruto called out but he did not respond, as he knew that something was happening. It was then that Itachi turned and attacked him out of the blue. He wouldn't explain why, he just started to attack. Naruto told him that he wasn't there to take him back, he was here to help. But Itachi still attacked and attacked him. They battled for hours as Naruto tried his best to calm Itachi down. In their hour-long battle, Itachi told Naruto of the circumstances set for him by the Snake Sanin. He gave him an ultimatum: either he killed Naruto Namikaze or he would kill Izumi. As Naruto tried to convince him that if they worked together, they could kill the snake and save her. However, the Snake Sanin showed up with a knife to the girl's throat. Itachi realized there was no chance to save her, other than doing what the man said and ending Naruto's life. With a heavy heart set in stone, he continued to battle. Izumi pleaded in the background held most of his attention. The battle could have gone on forever with Naruto dodging Itachi attacks. At first, Naruto believed that it was a poor plan by the snake, because he had no leverage over him. However, the snake then proceeded to bring someone else out. a bound and gagged Mito, tears streaming down her face. As Naruto wondered how the hell the man got his hands on her, he at first rushed towards the snake to get her back. However, a barrier shut around the room. Orochimaru kicked his feet up as he watched a spectacular show that was about to happen. A spectacular battle it was. The two held nothing back as they fought for their hearts, influenced by the crying of the girls to save them. However, Naruto got the upper hand, and he was able to kill Itachi. The last thing Itachi saw before he died was Izumi's throat being slit. As Naruto's soul broke completely, witnessing the death of his two best friends, one of them by his own hands. Never before the kill made him feel so cold. The only way he kept himself together was the thought of saving his sister. However, Mito started to chuckle as the barrier broke. To his shock and horror, her appearance changed into a man that he read about in bingo books. Not famous and known, however, his ability was rather impressive. 100 transformation Kazan. Orochimaru and his associate escaped before the barrier fell. By the time it did, Naruto had no will or the strength to search for them. Instead, he looked down and proceeded to pick up the bodies of his friends and carry them back to the village. Upon arrival, people mourned the death of their village favorite couple, as there was many questions. It was meant to be confidential, but a leak from the Anbu Garden Hokage, during Naruto mission report, began the spread of the rumor that was partially true. Within weeks, they knew that Naruto Namikaze killed Itachi, but they just didn't know the full story. And so he was ostracized by everyone who admired the two. Rumors spread on why he did it, each more ridiculous than the last. Some say he was jealous of Itachi for having Izumi, so he killed him to get him out of the way. And when he did, Izumi didn't want him, so he killed her too. Another said that he just snapped. None of them made it even close, as they say that his father was playing favorites, not accusing him for his crimes because he was his son. That is why his mind was starting to go back to those days, and now there was nothing here to stop it from reverting back to those old days. It was like opening Pandora's box. Secrets that were locked away that should not be opened up. His will to live, his reason to go on was melting away. His whole demeanor was just falling so quickly. There was no light left in this world. Not for him anyways. The lack of missions made it even worse. Those missions kept his mind focused on something, but now he had nothing to focus on, just to think. And him alone with his thoughts was not really a good thing. The world kept on laughing at him every chance it got to kick the shit out of him, and showed him no mercy. What? What did he do? Well, he didn't know what he could do yet. It had not reached a point where he had to do something. There must be something, some hope, that it would get better. He just had to wait. Right here in his bed, he would wait. As he looked at the white ceiling, unblinking, unflinching, he saw the rays of the sun, the light of the moon, shifting, switching, shifting, switching, switching, shifting. It just kept on switching and shifting. Meanwhile, Minato was in his office as he signed another document. The recent years were on his mind heavily. The stress of everyone everywhere begging him to do something was on his mind. He didn't know who to listen to. Recently, the council had been the worst. The latest tragedy of Uchiha Itachi's death was at the center of it, and so was his son as well. They demanded his head, even as Minato explained that Naruto's actions was within the law because Itachi became a missing nin when he ran away from this village. However, they refused to hear it. They wanted vengeance for the loss of Konoha #1 ninja. They wanted him to pay for his crime, however Minato refused. He would not kill his own son for something that he would have done if he was the one to go. Minato knew for a fact that he wouldn't have hesitated to end the young prodigy's life if he thought that Mito was in danger, or if he thought she was. Sadly, most of the requests for a trial came from his close friend Fukaku. The entire Uchiha clan was stricken with grief, and they demanded he pay for his crime. Minato actually feared the outcome at the end of all of it. There was only a few ways that it was bound to end, with Naruto getting killed or the Uchiha clan packing up and leaving Konoha for good, weakening them considerably. As a father, he wanted to protect his son as best he could. However, as a Kage, the village always came first. It broke his heart, however, if a threat were to be issued, he had to try his best to reduce a death sentence to probably imprisonment or exile, neither of which that he wanted for Naruto. With Naruto racking up missions after mission for the past few weeks, maybe he could trial for that, with Konoha lacking of manpower. However, he doubted it. The world was at a moment of stasis. Not peace, but there was no major conflict, no war around the corners, everything was calm. Hearing reports from Captain Yosha and Inuichi gave him more to worry about. Now he was finding out that his son may not be stable. That was cause for concern as well. For someone as Naruto being unstable, that could be another Orochimaru case. A madman running loose among the elemental nation. No, he wouldn't believe it, his son was fine. All he needed was some sleep. As he thought that a ball flew in through the window, the Anbus instantly leaped from their spot, as a purple gas started to be emitted from it. Minato leaped to his feet with kunai in his hand, as he looked at the figure at the window. He had a hood over his face as he charged towards a blonde Hokage. They engaged in a brief taijutsu as another squad of Anbu burst through the door. The hooded figure kicked Minato away and he gained some distance before he rushed towards the window. He threw an explosive tag before leaping out. Minato was shocked as he saw that face. It was his own son. Unfortunately, the Anbu saw it as well, as they gave the order that Naruto and Namikaze just attacked the Hokage. As they pushed their way through the falling debris, as they intend to find the blonde teen and arrest him. Minato stood there unable to move, shocked at the events. He could have go after him and catch him, however his shock would not let him move. He could not understand what happened. Time skip, Naruto looked up at his ceiling, as he heard someone enter in his home. As a trained Anbu, he drew his kunai, waiting for whatever fool that would try to attack him. He could hear multiple things shifting and moving around his house. Someone moving downstairs. As he rushed upstairs, rushing in with a vigor, however, he did not hesitate as he slit his throat. However, to his shock, it was someone that he knew. No! As Naruto dropped the kunai, Hayate! Hayate! As he put pressure on the slash in his throat, trying to stop the blood from flowing out. His hands glowed green medical chakra before he could heal the injury. He was tackled to the ground by several other Anbus. With his face pressed down against the ground, he looked through the hall as he saw a figure stand at the window. On the opposite hall, it was himself. The figure changed into another random civilian and jumped off. A knee pushed his face down, muffling his cries to go after the real perp, as the Anbu behind him chopped him in the back of the neck, knocking him out cold. Time skip. 2 months later, his body slumped over on his knees as he looked at the people that hated him in the room. His father sad gaze on him as well. The room sat in silence, waiting the verdict they all arrived to, at last. For the past 2 months, Naruto was being held in Anbu prison as he made his case. He explained everything, even the assumption of Itachi's case. The council was split in their thinking. Most of the civilians were undeterred by his story, but the clan heads and higher up seemed to understand. However, understanding and forgiving were two different things. Fukaku being a prime example of that, as he told him that he saw 100 transformation Kizon, the missing and fleeing the scene. The one thing he couldn't explain was the man's motive, as the only possible answer he had was the man was intent on ruining his life. The council would not accept such a runaround excuse, so his answers were unreliable, as Minato looked like he was going through a lot. The grimace on his face as he got to his feet, the verdict had came. The trial had been 2 months long. Naruto Namikaze, for your crimes of attempting murdering of the Hokage and murdering your fellow shinobis of the Hidden Leaf, you have been sentenced with life imprisonment. His voice was soft as he spoke as the room was silent. I'm sorry, my son, he choked out, as Naruto was being dragged away by 2 Anbus, this time to the real prison. Time skip. 1 month later, the month had been nothing but pure hell. Well, considering that the prison was run by the Uchihas, you should understand why. His first night there was the loneliest that he's ever been. He was not placed with the other prisoners immediately. Instead, he was taken to one of the abandoned divisions in the lower levels. It was there that the guards felt like he needed to be taught a lesson. Sure, he could have fought back and tried to kill them, however, he figured there was no point. There was no good anyways. For the first few days, he was beaten severely. They took their vengeance out on him for the fallen clan prodigy, as he got the lack of proper treatment and barely any essentials. He was given one very unfavorable meal a day, water twice a day, and a shower that could not be used. That was his cycle for the time being. When the guards finished having their fun with the blonde, he was moved up towards the regular levels. His first cellmate was a man who had a grudge against his father for his sentences, and there was a lot of others that hate his father in there. It seems like life was once again laughing at him, his permanent fate of enduring more beating being one of them. They had their fun attacking him. When they had nothing else to do, after all, staring at the wall was not entirely excited. The guards turned a blind eye as they saw all of this. For the ones that truly hated him when they had their shift, they gave the prisoners the lower floor to beat the hell out of him. It was down there that they tried to kill him. And then it finally happened. He lost it. When he was down there, one of the attackers got the idea to drown him in the shower. There was a reason why the down level were no longer used. The sewer system was attached to the same pipes that the snake Sonic used to use, where he poured strange chemicals inside of. Hundreds of prisoners died because of the chemicals running through the pipes down there, and they closed the entire thing off. However, for Naruto that wasn't what happened. He did not die. Instead, his Uzumaki blood was able to fend off the effects that it caused. It did not kill, but instead it changed him, physically and mentally. It changed his blonde hair to blood red. It looked like he was born with it. After all, that was what his sister possessed. And inside of his mind, something just snapped. While the man stood around his broken form as they watched him remove the blackened liquid off his body, they laughed happily, thinking back to one of his favorite books that he could no longer read. Naruto realized something. The book was right. Everything he said made perfect sense. The world was laughing at him. It was kicking dirt in his face and laughing its ass off. Everyone was also laughing and assisting. As you watched, they all laughed. They were quick to notice him when he do something bad, however. When he be the hero, when he did all it took to protect his village and his fellow comrades, they forgot about him. No matter what he did, he was overlooked, like he didn't belong. Like he was not meant to exist. It was at that moment he ran a hand through his new red hair. As he started to laugh, he cackled like a man possessed. All the prisoners froze up. They watched him laugh in absolute silence. One of them, who were brave enough, decided to kick him in the face. However, Naruto grabbed his leg and clamped down. He then drove his elbow in it, breaking the man's leg. The man screamed out. The remaining four got into fighting stances, seeing that he was planning to fight back. Only one of them was smiling because he was an Anbu agent himself, and he believed he could take Naruto. The others weren't so sure. Two of them reached the rank of Chunin and the other one barely making Genin. As Naruto brought his right hair down as he looked at it. That's uncanny, isn't it? As he started to laugh. The former Anbu commander got tired of the anticipation though. He leaped forward, tried to kick Naruto in the back. As Naruto sidestepped the attack and grabbed the man in a chokehold. As he then snapped. The man's head snapped with a cracking sound. As the body dropped to the ground, the other two ran as hell. As Naruto started to walk after them, he stepped on the injured man's leg as the man screamed out. "Don't go too far now," he said. "I'll be right back." As he giggled to himself. The two arrived at the door as they banged on it, shouting for someone to open it. The guard that was usually on top of the stairs wasn't there this time. Turned around when they saw the red-haired teen still covered in black water. As he calmly walked their way, they pounded harder and harder, trying to break the door down. As Naruto's face was stretched wide in a grin, a rather amused look in his eyes. Watching them fight and beg for their life were amusing him in some sick, twisted way, and he loved it. They turned to face him, the resolve to live, to take him down as they came at him. Naruto ducked under the first fist. The second one brought his leg down. As Naruto slapped it to the side, he then proceeded to jump. He grabbed the man by the neck and brought him down before he smashed his skull into the earth. The other one watched as Naruto repeatedly bounced the man's head off the solid concrete floor until there was nothing but a bloody mess. As Naruto rose, as he looked towards the blood, as he tapped his hand in it. "Just like my hair," he said. The other man started to back away as Naruto rushed forward and slammed a fist into his stomach. The Gen 11 ninja doubled over as he dropped to his knees. "No, please don't," as Naruto grabbed his face and slammed his skull into the ground. As blood was leaking from the back of his head, as Naruto looked down towards his face, his two thumbs came up as Naruto gouged them in the man's eyes. He laughed psychotically as he kept on push and push and push, until he started to smush the man's face in. The other one tried to crawl away, as Naruto reached over and stomped on his leg. "I told you, I would be right back." "Where are you going?" he said. The man screamed as Naruto picked him up by his leg and swung him around and swung him as he laughed the entire time, crashing the man in the solid iron beam. The man's left arm snapped as it made contact, however. He pulled out the shank that he had with his right arm. It was like a kunai, however. It was chipped and twisted. The man slashed at Naruto as Naruto gripped his wrist and snapped it before he pulled out the shank. Huh, you brought me a toy, said Naruto. The man had a look of fear on his face as Naruto tilted his head. What's wrong, he said. You look so sad. As a grin came on Naruto's face. Let me fix that. The man screamed as Naruto used a shank to tear his mouth open, carving a smile on his face as he gripped the man's throat. The man could not move. As blood gurgled out of the man's broken sliced lips, as Naruto raised his shank and proceeded to stab the man over a dozen times, laughing the entire time. Now, even in death you will be smiling, said Naruto. The guards finally arrived. When they arrived, they heard laughing. They opened the cell doors. They made their way down. Hey, what is? They arrived as the place was covered in blood. The stench was horrible. In the center of all of that was Naruto Namikaze. He finally broke. He finally snapped. He went crazy. A man that had nothing left to live for, and now had his sights on what to look forward for. Oh, he knew exactly what to look forward for. The future. And it was gonna be fun. But guys, if you ain't subscribed right here, for the next person, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm all for now, guys. Remember to stay tuned for the rest of what is coming your way, and also turn on that bell notification to stay posted. So yeah, see you guys soon. Peace, guys.